months dealing with multiple kidney diseases that left her return to the games in doubt. I just found both of those ladies to be so inspirational that I just wanted to share that, you know, I better not ever say I can't. Okay. I had better not ever, ever say I can't. I can't. We have so many stories of inspiration. So I thought I would share those those two quips about those two ladies with you. How are you all coming along today? I hope you're doing better than I am. You see me. I still haven't gotten it together. I don't know what's going on, but whatever it is, we're going to work it out. Something else I want to share too. There's an article that reads that Gen X and millennials are more likely to get cancer. Now that Nick, I told you this confuses me. Gen X, millennials, Gen Z. I still don't know who is what. I have no clue. I don't even know what I am in the whole mix of it all. But in any event, it reads Gen Xers and millennials have a higher risk of developing more cancers than their parents, according to new research. In the study from the American Cancer Society, researchers found Generation X and millennials uh, have a higher risk of developing 17 cancers compared to older generations. It reads the risk for developing cancer, including colorectal cancer, uterine cancer, liver cancer, and breast cancer. You are more likely to develop cancer in your 30s and 40s if you were born in the 1990s and 1980s. Okay, well, I'm out. Than your parents were, who were born in the 50s and 40s. This statement was made by Dr. Bill DeHut, who is the chief scientific officer at the American Cancer Society. Now, he shared that what's driving the trend, they don't know. He she shared that they have to do more research. He doesn't know if it's likely to due to an environmental aspect, whether it's diet, lack of exercise, or what have you. But you know, family, we talk here all the time about the environment, about the food we eat, about these chemicals we're putting into our bodies. And how about the other day? I meant to tell you this. The other day, I just did a quick little Google search. I said, so what foods are banned in the United States? That I mean, what foods are banned in other countries that are not banned in the United States? And I don't remember the entire list. I don't remember that in its entirety, but I do know Ritz crackers was on the list. Let me, y'all. It just took me by surprise because my cousin she had just bought me some for whatever reason. She just bought me some, but Ritz crackers was on the list and Skittles. Nick, do you eat Skittles?
I love them.
Do you?
I do. I eat them instead of eating ice cream because I feel like they're just as terrible. So
Oh, oh no, Nick, no, don't do it. Don't do
can't
it.
can't do.
Well, imagine how I felt after I had eaten a half of a sleeve of Ritz crackers and I saw it on the list. I said, y'all just don't want me to live. Y'all don't want me to be happy. There's nothing like a Ritz cracker and a piece of cheese. What? What? Oh, oh my goodness. So I figured I would share that with you. I won't bring your day down with telling you, trying to remember some of the other things on that list because I don't want you all to be mad at me. But something else I want to share with you too. Y'all, did you know the tolls are going up? Did you know that, Nick? Starting next month, September 1st, for the first time in 13 years, it reads tolls on the four bridges over the Delaware River that are under the stewardship of the Delaware River Port Authority will increase. It turns out in July, the Delaware River Port Authority's board voted unanimously to approve a new schedule that will see tolls on the Ben Franklin, Walt Whitman, Commodore Barry, and Betsy Ross bridges increased by $1 beginning on Sunday, September 1st. I said, wait, now, didn't we just have an increase? Is it me? Is it me? Didn't we? I feel like we just had an increase. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. All right, family, it is time to check in check in with me. Let me know what's going on with you. Let me know how you're doing, how you're making out in this heat if you are in these areas where it's 90 and above. Talk to me. Let me know. Let me know. I see that Malcolm is checking in. He shares that he's watching and listening from West Mount Airy. Hey there, Malcolm. It's so good to have you join us as always. He shares, Carol, animals don't do well in the heat. I know. I know. Listen, let me tell y'all something. My Chloe, she doesn't know that she's a canine. And sometimes I forget because I treat her like she's a human being. And I kept telling, I said, Chloe, it's hot out there. It's hot. You really don't want to do this. It's hot. Well, um, we only took a couple steps before she realized, yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. So we turned right back around. But you're right. Animals don't do well. So I don't normally have her out. I don't have her out for, extended periods of time in the heat. Uh, Eric, Just Rick is joining us. He shares, hey there, love and life family. It is Thursday already. I know, right? He shares that he's watching the show on TV via YouTube and Facebook together. Oh my goodness, you remember too, Captain Caveman. I used to love that. He shares that he misses Saturday morning cartoons. Let me tell you something. When I was looking that fact up, when I, was reading, I said, I did it myself. I sang that out loud too. Nick, I know you don't know anything about Captain Caveman, do you?
No, ma'am. No, I do not.
I know, yeah. Well, listen, I used to love Captain Caveman on a Saturday morning. What? Oh, you have no idea, no idea. Norm McGowan is joining us. He shares good evening to everyone. This heat is no problem because I'm chilling with the family. I know that's right. Peace to you all. Norm, you are not alone. I came back in the house and I've been, well, I had administrative stuff to do all day. So I did not venture back out. I should say, Chloe and I, we did not venture back out. So I'm with you. I am with you. Harry Wims is joining us and he shares, hey there, word family. And he shares he loves Skittles. No, Harry, no, Harry, no. It's on the list. They are on the list. The Skittles. No, I remembered Skittles and I remembered Ritz crackers. There's some other things too. Something in the Tostitos family, one of those dips or something that's on the list too. They all contain some ingredient that's supposed to be dangerous to our health. I, listen, I know. Malcolm shares, wow, in all caps. Ritz were the good crackers back in the day. I know. I know. I know. Our love light, Willie Matthew Williams, is joining us and he's sending love to everybody. Happy Thursday to everybody. He sure is. And Harry, you want to see Chloe? Oh, Lord. You know what? Let me tell you what she does. So, Chloe, she's gotten used to when I get ready for work. So, whenever I get set up and I sit in front of my desk, whenever I do, Chloe goes and she takes a nap because she knows I'm working. So that's what she does. So I wish you could hear her right now because she's asleep. She's asleep. She'll pick one of her spots, and she has a few. She has her bed, her sofa bed. She's got her crate, or she picks one spot, and then she'll go asleep until I get off the air. I She's so used to my schedule, and that's what she does whenever I'm on the air. But I'm going to have to find a picture to show you guys because I love my baby. Y'all hear me talk about my sugar lump all the time. I love her. Craig Williams is joining us, and he's sending love to everybody. Hi there, Greg. Joanne, our love like Joanne, she shares they need to just give us a list of what we can eat and be done with it all. Listen, I'm telling you, I'm mad at the United States for having it included, for including these foods, making them available to us, period. Killing us. Come on now. Y'all know better. Y'all know better. Mhm. And Just Rick shares, and Nick, you are missing out. Captain Caveman, the Wacky Racers, Penelope Pit Stop, yes, Snagglepuss, Heavens to Murgatroyd, yes. Oh my good. Oh, see that? I just had too much fun. I did, didn't I, Nick? I know I did. I know I did. But you missed all of that. You gotta. I'm just going to have to send you all this. You know what I did, y'all? I bought. Do you remember Schoolhouse Rock? I went online. I bought the whole series, and it was just before the maker of it, the creator of it, passed away. I just had this swim. I bought the whole set because I love all of that. I love all of that. I love nostalgia, but I love all of that. And y'all know how I am. Okay, so Nick, help me out. So for those of you who are like I am, you don't have a clue who is a Gen X, a millennial, a Gen Z, or any of that, because it confuses me. So Gen X, Nick shares, is from 1965 until 1980. Millennials are from 1981 to 1996, and Gen Z is from 1997 to 2010. Wait, what now? Oh, okay. Okay, Gen X, 1965 to 1980, millennials 1981 to 1996, Gen Z is 1997 to 2010. So what about anybody born after 2010? Who are they? What are they? What are they called? What do we just what are they?
I think those are the ones that they call Alpha, but not Generation Alpha, just Alpha. I don't understand the naming schemes, honestly.
Did you say alpha?
Alpha, like Alpha and Omega.
Really? How did we get there?
You got me beat. I didn't choose these names. I guess they're running out of generational, alphabets.
That
Or
makes no sense to me, Nick.
the one before Gen X is called Boomers. I don't understand the naming scheme either. I think it's strange.
Those were the baby boomers
Yep,
before.
that's 46 to 64.
Who came up with this? They need to talk to us because that makes no sense to me. We've got baby boomers, Generation X, then we go to millennials. Then what happened to Gen Y? We don't have a Gen Y. We don't have a Gen Y. What happened to Gen Y? Nick, I need you to know the answers to all of these questions. I
Oh,
do
I
my cousin the same way. I do her the same way.
a different chart.
I do my
First,
cousin the same way. When I ask her something, I tell her, I need you to know. You're supposed to know. You're my oracle. I need you to know.
seems like on this other chart, millennials are referred to as Gen Y, but that's they put that in brackets, so not typically called Gen Y.
So loosely, probably by people like me who find it weird that they skipped between Generation X and Generation Z.
Yep.
That's probably from where that came. Probably. Yep. Look, Harry Wim said Generation Alpha. That's the ones born after 2010. I what? What? Malcolm shares. He loved the wacky racers too. Also, Speed Racer. What? And the Warner Brothers cartoons. Let me tell y'all. Oh, y'all bringing back some memories right now. Oh, I have the biggest smile. For those of you who are not watching, I have the biggest smile on my face. All of this nostalgia here. It feels so good. Harry, I'm going to find a good picture of Clo that I can share with you all. What we're going to do right now, and we're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, we're going to jump into the Summer of Freedom series right after the commercial break. So stay with us because we will be right back.
Why is word important to the community?
Black media disseminates all of the things in our culture.
You know, it give our people a voice. You feel me?
I wouldn't see myself.
It gives people that looks like me a chance to relate to what's going on in the world.
We need to see who we actually are.
Because it's coming from us is like more important. Like we tap in more to it, if you know what I mean.
I wanted to see what other little black girls and now what people my age would want to see.
What other way can we all kind of get on the same page and hear it at all if if we don't have media to share it with?
We are WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
How do you love a black woman? The longest national touring, most successful African-American theatrical stage play in American history is back. Diary of Black Men, How Do You Love a Black Woman? September 4th and 5th at the Met Theater. The play that delivers tears, laughter, and joy about male and female relationships from a black man's perspective. Starring Carl Payne from the TV show Martin. The Diary of Black Men. Get your tickets now at Ticketmaster or go to diaryofblackmen.com.
Represent, represent.
Want the latest in word swag? Check out the shop tab on wordradio.com. Hoodies, tees, and more in a variety of colors. It's the shop tab on wordradio.com. You can look good and show the world that you're all about Black Talk Media.
We're celebrating Black influence and Black excellence worldwide on the home of progressive Black Talk Media, WURD.
You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Well, hey there, family. Welcome back. You are tuned in to Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick. I was sharing with you just before the commercial break about the Summer of Freedom. Harry, I did not forget about you. I'm still looking for that picture. I'm trying to upload it. So I'm going to upload it in the interim. But what I want to share with you now is the Summer of Freedom series. I was talking with you about it. But just to give you some more information, hear about Philadelphia in a different light. Word Radio's Summer of Freedom cultural series by Wake Up with Word host Solomon Jones tells the story of African American reverberations on history, culture, art, and more by way of Philadelphia's historic sites. This week, Solomon shares the story of Mother Bethel AME, the oldest African Methodist Episcopal congregation in the nation. Summer of Freedom is brought to you by Comcast, Keystone First, PICO, Museum of the American Revolution, and Bank of America. So, family, get ready for the Summer of Freedom, Mother of Bethel AME Church, presented by our very own Solomon Jones.
The story of Mother Bethel African Methodist Episcopal Church is a story of faith and determination. It's a story that begins with struggle. In the 1700s, Richard Allen's family was enslaved by a prominent and wealthy Philadelphia family called the Chews. Allen and his family were sold to a Delaware planter named Stokely Sturgis. And as Reverend Dr. Mark Kelly Tyler explains, that's where the tale of Mother Bethel begins.
Stokely Sturgis was not, a great businessman. So imagine the family goes from a wealthy family to one that's just struggling and scraping to get by. So Allen is down near Dover, enslaved, when he is converted. So even though he's enslaved, he recognizes he also has his own soul to deal with. And he hears a white Methodist preacher who is going through Delaware, preaching to anybody who will listen, black, white, enslaved, free, it doesn't matter. Allen's heart is so moved that he says that his dungeon shook and his chains flew off. That is, it's one of those lines in the AME church that everybody knows. So check this, Solomon. He is so shrewd, Allen is. He starts to show early on. He believes that if he can get his owner, Stokely Sturgis, to hear this preacher, Freeborn Garrettson, that was his name, that he too will be saved and will more likely be willing to sell Allen his freedom. The entire plan works. Allen, gets him convicted because this guy was hard on slave owners in his preaching. Terrifies Stokely Sturgis, makes arrangements, and Allen hauls salt for the Continental Army, the Revolutionary Army, during the Revolutionary War in his extra time and earns enough money to become free. And so he gets his freedom and then joins the Methodist Church because that's where he first experienced God. And in the earliest days, the Methodist Church, what is now considered the UMC, was so anti-slavery because of their founder, John Wesley, that in their first book of laws, it said if you own slaves, that you cannot be in good standing in the church. And that's why Allen wanted to become a Methodist, even though the American Methodists turned their backs on that commitment by and large. But he understood that it was always supposed to be a freedom church.
Like the man who led him to Christianity, Allen became a traveling preacher. It was a hard life.
he's not ordained or licensed yet at this point, but he just becomes like this traveling, walking evangelist, eventually getting a horse of his own, but the horse is kind of small. So he trades his horse for a blind horse, but bigger and stronger and can go farther, right? So Allen he preaches on the main line. There's a great story where he goes to Ardmore and Radnor in that area. He walks so long that his feet are so blistered when he gets there. A black family called the Waters family tends to him. They lift this heavy table to bring the food to him. So he doesn't have to get up to walk anymore. And he ministers to folk out there.
Eventually, Allen was invited to preach at St. George's Methodist Church, but the invitation came with a catch. Reverend Tyler explains.
He's allowed to preach at 5 a.m., that glorious hour where everybody wants to come to church. That's the throwaway hour, Solomon. That's when they tell you, we want you, but we really don't want you. Yeah, we got a great service at 5, but he blows the service up.
But even in the Methodist Church, which was founded on an anti-slavery platform, racism was ever present. And as the number of black worshipers grew, so did the animosity. Brian Armstead, a member and tour guide at Mother Bethel, picks up the story from there.
The church was growing so much that they had to build a balcony. But unfortunately, as we all know, too many times in our history, some black people is good. Too many black people is a problem. And so they started making a policy in the church that the blacks had to all go worship up in the balcony. Again, think 60s, had to be in the back of the bus, right? Had to be up in the balcony. So at one particular point, Allen and Jones were in prayer with other black people at the altar. And the trustee came by and said, okay, y'all got to go get up and go back to the balcony. And Jones says, basically, you know what, give us this moment and we will trouble you no more. They finished praying, and then Allen and Jones got up, and the black congregation followed them, and they walked out, the first act of civil disobedience in this country. And they walked out, and they troubled that church no more. They said, we're out, we're going to start our own thing. And so Reverend Allen ends up starting Bethel Church, which later becomes Mother Bethel, because it's the mother of the AME denomination.
The church's first building was in a blacksmith shop, but it was a growing congregation, and Allen, along with Absalom Jones, founder of St. Thomas African Episcopal Church, were leaders of 2 large black congregations. So when the yellow fever epidemic struck Philadelphia, Allen and Jones were asked to help, and they did, but their assistance was met with slander.
After a while, the epidemic passes, people start returning back to Philadelphia. And there was one publisher in particular named Matthew Carey, who wrote a publication detailing what happened during the calamity. But he slandered Allen and Jones in the black community and said that we have been profiteering and stealing from people and that whole thing, right? So Allen and Jones wrote this book, and this is actually the first book copyrighted by black people in this country. And I think it's significant. Our first book that we had copyrighted was not a love book, was not a book of fiction, was not a book of poetry. It was a book to defend themselves against these unwarranted attacks. And they did it so well. They documented stories of what people did, and they had bookkeeping that's inside. They did it so well that it gave cover to people like the mayor of Philadelphia to come out and say that in 1793, that black people had actually come and saved the city of Philadelphia.
But that wasn't the only battle they had to fight. The Methodist Church was still trying to control Mother Bethel. Allen knew they had to break free. I asked Brian Armstead how they did it.
The church itself had to fight and go to the state Supreme Court twice to free themselves completely from the Methodists who were still trying to control the church. That takes money, that takes influence in any age to mount that kind of legal battle, to go to the state Supreme Court twice. And it wasn't until 1816 when they actually finally won that battle, which then opened the way for Reverend Allen to invite nearby ministers to come by. And they created, in the Mid-Atlantic region, to come through, and they created the AME denomination. Like, far be it from me to say what God would have done or not done, but I can't see history playing out the way that it did had not Allen and Jones written this so well, because the stench of scandal will prevent that kind of support coming on down the road. The church itself might not even have any members if they had the stench of scandal over this kind of a thing. So this is just an amazing piece to me. And I think it says a lot about their tenacity. You know, when you read the stories about Allen and Jones and their cohort, it's almost like you're reading the same kind of stories about Dr. King and Abernathy and Young, that level of political sophistication, of spiritual groundedness, of commitment to our people, of trying to work together, of, well, Doc, you don't need to be at that meeting because they're probably going to come for you. So I'll be at this meeting. You go over here. Let's go all pray for this. Like the things that they did, it was just like the people whose names we know so much more about.
American history ran parallel to the history of Mother Bethel, and as the church built a new edifice in 1805, then another in 1841, the White Methodist Church was dealing with its own issues that were tied to slavery. I asked Reverend Tyler to explain.
So the United Methodist Church in 1844 ultimately split over the issue of slavery, because it's so wild to me, Solomon, how these things were running on parallel tracks with the country, right? So in the earliest days, the country said everybody should be free, but we know in the end, to create the Union, they sacrificed Black folk. Likewise, the White Methodists, though they had that in writing that you could not own slaves, they quickly changed and allowed kind of like each congregation or conference to decide on their own, so they wouldn't lose those slave-holding rich white Methodists who would quickly become Baptists, right? But by 1844, it was untenable, and the church divided over the issue of slavery, creating two new Methodist churches. Now, Richard Allen, AMEs, we weren't a part of that because we left and created our own, but it just shows that this issue of race was thorny then, is thorny now, and really kind of the seeds of what we're witnessing today, almost all of them can be seen in the lives of Richard Allen, Absalom Jones, Sarah Allen, and all the other founders of these free Black churches in Philadelphia. It's fascinating.
By 1889, Mother Bethel had built its current edifice, a soaring stone house of worship on the oldest piece of land continuously owned by African Americans. Its sanctuary is adorned by towering and brightly colored stained glass windows. Longtime member and tour guide Sharon Coleman describes what's inside.
When I come to the sanctuary, I see a place that ministers to me, and it tells me about different things that the people thought were important during that time. The sanctuary is from 1889. So when they built this church, they wanted people to come in here, and this was a safe haven. If you look at the windows, the giant windows, they all tell different scriptures and different biblical things that happen. If you look in the back, you'll see the dove. It represents the Holy Spirit. We have the Alpha and the Omega. And we have Jesus in the center, who's from the 23rd Psalm, the Lord is my shepherd. On one side of the church, the Lombard Street side, we have Bethlehem. We also acknowledge that Richard Allen, who is the founder of the church, was a Mason. And there's a Mason window. Prince Hall came from Boston to Philadelphia. Richard Allen and his friend Absalom Jones started the first Mason Lodge here at Bethel Church. If we look on the right side, which we call the Pine Street side, at the top, we see the laws for the church. So there's a Bible, the 10 Commandments, and a book that we call the Discipline. The center window shows us Jerusalem, which of course Jesus rode into Jerusalem on Palm Sunday, and they waved palms and said, Hosanna, but he was crucified on the Friday not too far from Jerusalem.
I asked Coleman what she feels when she walks into that sanctuary, in a building that's 135 years old, on property owned by African Americans since 1791.
You sit in these pews that are made of cherry wood, and you can imagine how the services were and who was here. This particular building, 1889, they had members that came in, and they took pride in the church. They worshiped together. There's no carpeting between the pews because they wanted to have what they call respond to the minister as he's preaching, and patting your foot and standing up and swaying to the music. Very lively services. And they knew that they were of African descent. So we feel that here in the sanctuary.
But for Reverend Tyler, the current pastor of Mother Bethel AME, it's about Richard Allen's faith.
During their time, they couldn't have their own cemetery in Philadelphia proper. So Mother Bethel's first burial ground was purchased in 1810 on Catherine and 5th, but that was considered Southwark. South Street was the end of the city. So all of these kind of challenges that they had to face, and without faith, they would not have been able to do it. I mean, faith was central for Richard Allen. Yes, he was a businessman. He was absolutely one of the first known abolitionists. They wrote pamphlets and decried slavery. They organized economic boycotts of goods produced by enslaved labor. They did all of those things. But first and foremost, I think if you ever asked him, he would say that he was what we call a churchman. That faith was the centerpiece of everything he built the rest of his life on. And and even to the end, Solomon, a discovery of mine in the last year that's been mind-blowing about Richard Allen, I won't say it's a discovery, but more of a larger connection, is the Black Convention movement that started in 1830. Allen hosted the first and was the president of the first. But I didn't know that was in connection to the Cincinnati riot that had happened the year before, where most of the Black population in Cincinnati was run out of town because whites were afraid they were competing for jobs. It was such a chilling moment for people north of the Mason-Dixon that all across the North, people thought if they could do it in Cincinnati, good God, they could do it in Philly, they could do it in New York. And so Richard Allen, to the very end, was utilizing his position and because of his faith, calling people together. And so 5,000 people showed up at Mother Bethel for that first Black convention to hear what this blueprint would be and how Black folk would move forward. And I argue that if you follow the timeline, because that convention movement lasted almost throughout the 1800s, that evolved into things like the NAACP, the Urban League, Black fraternities, the D9 sororities, all these different things, Man Up, PHL, National Action Network, all these things that we do today. If you go back and look at what they did in 1830 and laid out, man, I mean, it is striking how much it sounds, contemporary. But again, it goes back to a person whose faith started in a Delaware forest.
Today, Mother Bethel is host to crowded services in that sanctuary, where sunlight streams through the stained glass windows as believers make their way to Sunday services. The sounds of the church are many, from the creak of the wooden steps to the sound of an old wooden door. But on this day, as I leave Mother Bethel, I hear the voices of high school students who've arrived from New York to see that history for themselves.
Burroughs. Yeah. Is that Brooklyn? No. The Bronx? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Richard Allen, whose faith started it all, is entombed in the basement of the church. His belief in his people and the God who made them is evident. You can hear it in the worship even now. I'm Solomon Jones, and this is WURD's Summer of Freedom, brought to you by Bank of America, Comcast, Keystone First, the Museum of the American Revolution, and PICO.
Wow, family, just wow. That was absolutely amazing. Incredible thanks to our very own Solomon Jones. Family, it's time for us to take a short commercial break, but stay with us because we are coming right back.
Mike Tirico here with some of the 2024 Team USA athletes. What's your message for the team of tomorrow?
To young athletes, never forget why you started doing it in the first place. You have to pursue something that you're passionate about.
Win, lose, or draw, I'm always going to be the one having a smile on my face.
Finding joy in why you do it keeps you doing it.
Be authentic, be you, and have fun.
Joy is powering Team USA during the Olympic and Paralympic Games. Comcast is proud to be bringing that inspiration home for the team of tomorrow.
If you're worried about losing your health insurance through Medicaid, we have great news for you. New government regulations have expanded the Affordable Care Act. And now you may qualify to get health insurance for you and your family through the Affordable Care Act. Call now to learn if you qualify. We know the healthcare regulations regarding Medicaid, and we've helped thousands of people find quality, affordable health insurance. Plus, all our research is free to you. So call us. With just one call, we'll shop from hundreds of different insurance companies to find you the right affordable health insurance plan. So if you're worried about losing your Medicaid insurance, call right now. Speak with a licensed agent and find how you may qualify for a new health insurance plan.
800-275-7851. 800-275-7851. 800-275-7851. That's 800-275-7851. Paid for by the Health Insurance Hotline.
No, what's the word, boy? What's the word? What's the word?
WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
What is love?
You're listening to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
I think I know what love is.
And we are back. Welcome back, family. Welcome back to Love and Life with Carol Riddick, right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. Once again, what you just heard was the Summer of Freedom, Mother of Bethel AME Church excerpt by our very own Solomon Jones, our very own Wake Up with Word host. He's one of our love bugs. So, family, I was sharing with you that we do have a guest in our episode tonight, well, on tonight. But Harry, I did not forget you. Before we get to our guest, I'm going to share this with you. This right here, that's my love bug. That's my whole heart on the outside. Okay. This picture I'm sharing with you is my very own Chloe Chanel. That's my baby girl. So I bought her a new necklace and I asked her if we could take some pictures. So this is one of the pictures that we took. That was before she got tired of me. So Harry, that's my baby right there. That's my Chloe Chanel. So I just love her to pieces. Can't you tell? Can't you tell? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. So, family, I was sharing with you, and there she is. I'm sharing with you, Candace. I was sharing with you that we do have a guest tonight. See, oh no, my excitement. You are familiar with our love bug that is coming up next. You know her. You love her just like I do. She is no stranger to the show or the family or the station for that matter. Her name is Candace Johnson, and she is the founder of Gushy Candy LLC, an organization whose objective is to promote quality adult play and inclusivity. I love that. Aside from her daily role as CEO, Candace is also the mastermind behind Touchy Feely, which is an intimacy card game, the first game designed for all adult relationship styles and stages. Family, I welcome you to the conversation with none other than Candace Johnson. Hey there, love bug. How are you? Oh, we've got you muted. You are muted. There we are. Yes. Hi, beautiful.
I'm so excited to be back.
I love when you come because we just have the most fun conversations, and tonight will be no different. It will be no different. I see that we are talking about some things tonight. Yes, the two topics. Should I just go get into a video and then we go from there? Should I just start?
Please, let's help the people, please.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm going to the title. Let me see. Subject matter first: single parent or bad boy? Which one?
Which one would I not date, or which one would I date?
No. Which one first? Which video first? Single parent or bad boy? Which one?
Let's do bad boy first, because I think that is what brings on the single parent thing. Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, here it is, family. Let's get into it.
that women are attracted to this quote unquote bad boy aesthetic?
I'm a lot to deal with. I feel like the bad boys, sometimes when you're a strong female, you need that guy that's really gonna be like, you know what, stop playing. A regular nice person is just not gonna do it for me. The bad boy is like, all right. Because I feel like we supposed to follow a man in general. So I want a man that I know could protect me. I can listen to him. He's leading the right way. And if anything is to happen, he got me, like, fully. Every boy needs to have that bad side. Every girl is attracted to that part of a man, whether you nice
So you
or not.
don't feel like a nice guy could protect you?
A nice guy can protect me, but if I got a Urkel and we out in the spot, he's not gonna do it. Respectfully, he's not. I gotta fight for you, then it ain't gonna work.
All right. And there we have it. There we have it, family. So, okay, Candace. We have a topic to discuss. But before we begin that conversation, I do want to share Nasir Butler checked in. Hey there, Nasir. He did share with us that he's at the Dell tonight. He shares that Mike Phillips just lit the stage up, which I do not deny. I don't doubt it. Malcolm, thank you. My baby girl, thank you. She's adorable to me too. Eric, Just Rick shares, hey, Candace Johnson is here. Welcome back to the Love and Life platform. So, what are your favorite childhood cartoons? Oh, that's a good question. We were talking about cartoons and all. And Malcolm shares, welcome, Candace. So I was sharing in our Black History 365 moment tonight. I was sharing about a writer and cartoonist who writes for Disney. And he actually had a lot to do with the Hanna-Barbera cartoons that we know and love. Scooby-Doo, Josie and the Pussycats, and Captain Caveman. So we went down the rabbit hole about all the cartoons. So that is from where that came, in case you were wondering. So Rick is asking, what are your favorite childhood cartoons?
I would say my favorite childhood cartoon, which was turned into a series, is definitely Little Mermaid. Ariel was everything to me. And now that I'm an older woman, Ursula is everything to me. Because there are a lot of poor, unfortunate souls out there.
Or poor Ursula. Oh. So, family, did you just see the video that we shared? The young lady shared that she is more attracted to a bad boy than she is the man who is not. She said she feels, now quote, correct me if I'm wrong, Candace, but she said she feels more protected by the man who is the bad boy than a man who is not. Like he feels secure, protected. That's what she said, right? Kind of.
Yeah. Well, first of all, she put all of us in there. She said every woman needs. So I'm gonna go ahead and separate myself from her. Though I protect her and I support her dreams and what she needs. And we should definitely find a bad boy who is a leader for her. But when Niall sent it to me, I said, number one, stop bringing me these women. Stop doing this. But to be more serious, right? And to listen to the words, what I heard was a woman, and I don't know this woman, but what I heard was a woman who likely didn't have a father or did not have present male access in her upbringing. And let me tell you why. Because I had a daddy. And my daddy said a lot to me, and he protected me in my childhood, and he taught me how not to be a spoiled, privileged woman who requires a man to stand in front of me for me to have anything that is of value or for me to feel safe as a human being. Instead, what he taught me is to be able to find shelter in men who will protect me, regardless of what their position is in my life. And that's what I do. I'm a whole adult woman who could birth men if I wanted to. So I don't know that I need the leadership of a man, but of course, anytime I'm in a vulnerable situation, I seek leadership from anyone who can keep me safe. For that woman, what I got was a lot of confusion. One, like I said, I don't know that she's actually known the protection of men. And two, I don't know what her definition of a bad boy is. My definition of a bad boy is a man who would not protect you, who does not stand up for you. And likely it's the good guy that's going to protect you from the bad guy. And then lastly, I have seen every episode of Family Matters, and Steve Urkel unequivocally fought for both Laura and the other girl. I can't think of her name right now, Maura or whatever her name was. So Steve wasn't fighting with his fist, but he always figured out how to get Laura out of whatever situation she was in. So that was all I got for her. But again, a woman who absolutely fundamentally needs a man or any other human being to lead them is already coming from a different plane than where I come from.
You know what? You said a whole lot right there, Candace. And I have to say that no, listen, you did say a lot. And I agree with a lot of what you said. I truly do. But one thing you said though, her definition of this bad boy, like I don't know that there would be a bad boy that would make me feel secure or protect me, or one that would make me feel protected, or any of that. I'm in agreement. I am so in agreement with you when you say that, because that does not, I don't think we share the same definition of a bad boy.
Yeah. Now, if I get off of my healthy bus, right, and I think about like bad boy the way we think about it, listen, I'm a West Philly girl. I love a hard boy. I am of the group who believes that Will Smith deserved to slap Chris Rock at the Oscars a few years ago. If I was sitting next to my man in a $40,000 dress and some bum was making fun of me in front of an audience of thousands of people, I want my man to get up and slap him too. So I do understand the validity of safety, and right, I'm a woman, so I don't really think I should move out of my feminine spirit to be physically fighting. But a bad boy, that's the part that's a little bit destructive, right? I love a man who's willing to protect me above all else, right? A man who maybe may not be moved by other people, but is willing to do for me a little extra. I think that might be her definition of bad boy. Hey, he's not great to everybody, but he treats me super well. But then the flip side to that is that a man who only treats you well is only doing it until he doesn't want to. But a man who treats everybody well will treat you well even when they're done with you, is my experience.
When they're done with you.
Because they be done, child. They be done with us. When they done, they done.
I am still stuck on you saying that you look, I think Will should. He absolutely should have slapped Chris.
Violence is not the answer. But in a real life situation where I'm at the Kodak Theater with my man who's from West Philly, I do expect you to slap somebody up if they have 2,000 people laughing at me in the theater. Not expect.
Right, but you, yeah,
I
but
can see the validity of it.
Candace, family. Okay, the conversation has begun. What is your opinion on this subject matter? Bad boys. What do you think? How about that? I'll just say, what do you think? And I will put an ellipsis right there. What do you think? All right. We're going to take a commercial break. The phone lines are open. You know, they're always open. And feel free to continue to comment on our socials. We will be right back.
It's the WURD Hot 60. Hot 60. Here's the hottest 60 seconds you missed on Evening Words.
Daniel Hornung, who's the Deputy Director of the National Economic Council. Can you break down the news that came through about the American economy today?
The economy grew 2.8% in the second quarter of the year. That's more than we've seen in a kind of typical economic cycle. What we have now seen under President Biden and Vice President Harris is a stronger economic recovery than almost anybody thought possible when they came into office, when our economy was in crisis and we were faced with the pandemic. We've seen wages grow faster than inflation. We've seen now inflation really falling for 2 years now, back to much more normal levels. And we're seeing finally some real breakthroughs in economic opportunity throughout the country. Folks now really being able to get ahead. But, you know, President Biden and Vice President Harris both agree there's so much more we can do to build an economy that really works for the American people, that strengthens the middle class, that makes sure we're able to lower costs for folks, invest in increasing economic opportunity. So much more work to do.
And that's your hottest 60 seconds from Evening Words on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Tune in this Saturday at 8 a.m. for Conversations with the Commissioners, hosted by Chairman Omar Sabir. Learn more about voting and how elections are run in Philadelphia by joining the conversation exclusively on Word Radio, Black Talk Media.
Hi, I'm Keir Bradford Gray, one of the hosts of Power to Vote. Join us Sunday, August 4th from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. as me and my co-hosts, Judge Thomasine Tynes and Wanda Davis, dissect Project 2025.
The job search can be a difficult and frustrating process. Word's Livelihood Initiative was designed to help you find the right opportunity for your next professional move. Check out these recent openings posted on the Livelihood job board at wordworks.com. The Public Health Management Corporation is hiring for exciting roles, including a medical director and registered nurses. For more information on these jobs and others, go to wordworks.com and learn more about the Livelihood Initiative, brought to you by Word Radio, progressive, Black Talk Media.
Check this out.
Word family, it's a celebration of our founder, and you're invited to join us to honor the life and legacy of Dr. Walter P. Lomax Jr., MD, Friday, October 11th at the beautiful Mann Center for the Performing Arts. We'll celebrate Dr. Lomax's powerful career with a special focus on health and healing as we unveil our Philadelphia Black Doctors Directory. We'll honor our Community Impact Award winners, our members with a special forward members-only reception, and there will be food, live music, and we'll move and groove with a dance party under the stars, plus much more. Tickets are on sale now, and members receive a special discount. Visit wordradio.com/Founders Day Gala to purchase your tickets. Get them before they're gone, because you don't want to miss it. Be there Friday, October 11th for this special celebration of our founder, Walter P. Lomax Jr., MD.
Y'all ready for this? I always had to be so good, no one could ignore me. Carve my path with data and drive. But some people only see who I am on paper. The paper ceiling, the limitations from degree screens to stereotypes that are holding back over 70 million stars. Workers skilled through alternative routes rather than a bachelor's degree. It's time for skills to speak for themselves. Find resources for breaking through barriers at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
We are the home of progressive Black Talk Media. This is WURD 900 AM and 96.1 FM, Philadelphia. Streaming online on wordradio.com and the Word Radio app.
You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Well, hey there, family. Welcome back. You are tuned in to Love and Life with Carol Riddick right here on WURD. We are talking with our love light, Candace Johnson, tonight. Yes, we are. So we've got two topics, but the first of which is about Bad Boy. It was titled Bad Boy, this little video that we shared. If you missed it, I can't share it again. You know what? I'm going to do that. I'm going to share that again so that I don't even know what to say, but I'll share it again. How about that?
That women are attracted to this quote unquote bad boy aesthetic.
I'm a lot to deal with. I feel like the bad boys, sometimes when you're a strong female, you need that guy that's really going to be like, you know what, stop playing. A regular nice person is just not going to do it for me. The bad boy is like, all right. Because I feel like we supposed to follow a man in general. So I want a man that I know can protect me. I can listen to him. He's leading the right way. And if anything is to happen, he got me like fully. Every boy needs to have that bad side. Every girl is attracted to that part of a man, whether you nice
So you
or not.
don't feel like a nice guy could protect you?
A nice guy can protect me, but if I got a Urkel and we out in the spot, he's not gonna do it. Respectfully, he's not. I gotta fight for you, then it ain't gonna work.
Y'all, my head is spinning. All right, so that was the video that we shared. It was titled Bad Boy. I'm going to go to the comments. Just Rick shared. I'm just going to keep it 100. With her stance and her energy, I would probably be more leery of her over her dude. Why bestow these particular expectations on your guy? Thank you. FYI, be careful what you wish for. Thank you. Yes. Malcolm shares, women that like these bad boys are a problem. First off, they always pass up good men only to get pregnant with a bunch of kids and end up putting the fool on child support. Also, the danger is making a man a personal attack dog, putting in a battery in his back to maybe get him killed or locked up, only for her to meet another one to repeat the cycle. I think that I agree. I think that's a horrible expectation of someone. Just Rick shares, no, Candace, never, Candace. We need to be better than that. What did Dave Chappelle say when keeping it real goes wrong? We got to think before we leap or lash out. Oh, that was probably in response to the comment about Will and Chris. And our love light, Joanne Kemp shares, we really sound well, she really sounds very immature. I think so too. She will change her mind when those bad boys don't come through in other ways. I'm in agreement. I'm in agreement. She sounds immature to me. She sounds irresponsible to me. She sounds as if she takes no personal accountability for her own actions or for the things that come out of her mouth. Um, and I feel that her expectation is unrealistic. It is insulting and it is irresponsible. Um, yeah, that was my my quick little take on it. I I don't think it's a good practice. I don't think it's good practice at all.
And it shows how unhealed she is, right? And number one, it shows how volatile she is. The fact that she is commonly in spaces where she needs this type of protection, to where this is the label of a man that she needs. I like a man who can protect me. I'm not going to lie. But I have been in zero physical altercations, and I request to be with a man who is so deeply rooted in his spirituality that he understands the severity of a volatile situation and practices to get out of it. But I'm keeping it real with you guys. If push comes to shove, then I do Pilates, so I know I can shove back. And it is nice to know if whoever I'm with, and maybe this is something that I take for granted as a woman, right? I feel like it's my position to be able to take care of myself. It is my man's position to be able to take care of himself. There are some things that are, feminine qualities, and there are some masculine traits and qualities. And I feel like as long as we're coming 100% ready to move in our world and in our spirituality, then we should be okay. But I'm not an unwell woman looking to fight, so I'm not looking for an unwell man looking to fight.
I don't know that it should be the expectation that that fighting should be an expectation. I don't misunderstand me, because things happen. I understand that things happen, but I also don't believe that fighting is the answer to everything. Like I I feel like I don't know what was going through her mind that like that was the scenario, that she had to say. Like,
She
what,
fights
if I
a
gotta
lot.
protect you? She said, I gotta protect you, then it ain't gonna work. Like, what? So
But
that says a lot about her. And if you noticed the look on the other young lady's face, because that would have
I
been me.
loved her. Yes.
That would have been me. That I would have been the one looking, saying, okay, you need a hug.
And the guy in the LA hat, he was a good guy, because he's like, so a regular guy can't protect you, like, you right. But also, I'm using the word fight, but I think that I'm using that word interchangeably as protection. So I'm not always using the word fight meaning a physical violent altercation. Sometimes it's about, in a club, grab my hand and get me out of here. That is the fight. The fight is, let's
Not
get out here
even you.
before.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry. Finish what you were saying.
No,
Not,
that
but
was all
not
of
to
it.
interject that, but not. I wasn't even responding to you, but her energy, because that's what her energy gave about protection. Her energy wasn't. It didn't give protection in another way. Her energy was giving energy, in a negative, like a fight. Like, girl, oh no, boo, no. I'm gonna wait. I'm
I
gonna go
would
to
take her to rob a bank.
Oh,
I would. She's tough.
Candace, no.
I look to her for protection.
That's what Eric said. He would too. Listen, I'm going to go to the phone lines. James is joining us. Hey, James, welcome to the conversation, and thank you for calling.
Ladies.
Hi, James.
Now, as far as her definition as a bad boy, you don't know what kind of life she's into. Because it sounds like she need a Darnell do dirt on her armpit.
James.
It sounds probably heavy to the point where she needs that guy around, you know? I'm going to protect my woman. I'm going to protect her anywhere we at. I don't care who he is. He can be 785 pounds, 10 feet tall. Any predicament, I'm going to protect my woman. I'm going to grab her hand and we're going to pray before we get into it, whatever it is.
Oh, all right. Well,
I love you ladies to
we love you more, James. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
James.
So much. James said we're going to pray before we get into it, whatever it is.
Right.
That's what
He a good
said.
and bad boy.
Well, listen. Well, I mean, Candace, that's what you did say. Look, I want a man who knows the Lord, and he's,
Yeah, give James my number because we in
Yeah,
it.
no, I-
Yeah, we in it. And also, I will, to be clear, right? The protection I give as a woman, because I date men with egos. Again, I'm in Philadelphia. The best thing I can do for my man in protection, right, is to remember how great of an energy masculine energy is, especially 700 pounds, 10 feet tall energy. And so sometimes the best I can do as a woman is shut my mouth.
Yes.
Make sure I'm not increasing the validity or the volatileness
Volatility.
of the
Yeah.
situation and get up out of there. And that is very real too. And also making sure that my man's not arguing with a woman.
But see,
Those are the
now
two.
that's what I said about accountability, because I don't, it does not sound to me now, again, I don't know this young lady, but it does not sound to me that she has a lot of accountability. It sounds like she at times has been or has a tendency to be irresponsible with what she says and what she does. But I think it is so dangerous to have that expectation of any other human being. You are an individual who is responsible, should be responsible. Life is about choices. That's what it's about. Life is about choices, and to impose that on someone else, I think it is so toxic, and I think it is so wrong to do that. And I do want to go back to the Will and Chris situation. I know we never talked about that family. We never did talk about that when that happened. I think because I was in shock. I think I'm still in shock that it did happen, but I do understand protection. I do understand being protected. I do. But how often are we in those situations where something to that degree happens? And understand too, protection is also protecting you from yourself. So, let's start with that because he may need to address her to say, "Hey, slow down, pipe down, slugger, slow down."
That's what
Because
I was saying about her not
that's
maybe not having a father or those men in your childhood. Listen, I'm not going to say too much, but I have a lot of uncles in my family, a lot of male cousins, and definitely a dad and only brothers. And I have watched how responsible I must be with my
Mhm.
actions because any one of those men would give up their life and their freedom to honor
Mhm.
my name and our family. And when you
Mhm.
have that sitting on your back, and I've had examples in my childhood of how the men in my family will protect me. And when you have that, right, that sort of bearing weight of these men love me so much, they're willing to give up themselves, then you don't fight. And you don't wish to have people who want to start something so that you can finish it. Because the weight on the back end when you felt it is now someone I love is compromised because I
Mhm.
wanted to feel big, bad, and protected, which again then brought on the same responsibility for me of if I protect myself, if I can nip it in the bud, then I can stop someone else for, God forbid, making it a much worse, much more horrific situation.
But how about this? Not just the men in her family, the women, because in my life, in my family, as it pertains to my upbringing, the both men and women were as vocal, one as vocal as the other. If it wasn't my mother, my aunts, my grandmother, and I have the women in my family were very vocal. Have them saying, something as simple as telling me how to sit, telling me how to stand, watching the way I walk, watching the way I speak and how I approach other people, telling me, if I have a gentleman caller, no, you don't ever answer a horn. You don't ever. If someone comes to receive you, they will come to the door. They will knock on the door. That's what they will do. You will never walk up to a car. Things like that. And having the men in our family reinforce that as well. They were, very we were instructed on a lot of things. So it says a lot to me about the lack of uh the lack from both sides, both men and women. I see, family, that you are talking. I see Eric shares that's how a lot of black men end up dead or injured from some female securing a fighter. So does this give her a license to behave in an unruly way? That's why I said she has there. It sounds as if she has no accountability, and I don't want to beat down on this young lady, but it sounds as if she has no accountability. He follows his comment with sharing that I've seen a situation where a guy called a female bougie or a bougie B word. She then told her guy, "Are you just going to stand there and let him talk to me like that?" They argued and they scuffled. She is now single. Her man is dead, and the two kids, one boy and one girl, no longer have a father. I'm just saying. See, that right there. That right there. Malcolm shares, I can think of a situation one time with my last relationship. Rest in peace. When I had no, she did pass away. When I had to face two disrespectful men towards my lady. Fortunately, I was able to calm, negotiate some peace in that moment. It also helps to have some other tough friends to have your back. These guys knew who they were. LOL. So nobody got hurt. Apologies were rendered and the drinks kept flowing. Yeah, I think it's important to have somebody who knows how to um what's the word? Diffuse is a situation. Someone who someone who is not hot tempered as well. Someone who listen. Urkel may not have, like you shared, may not have been able to fight, or he may not have known how to fight. We're referencing Urkel from the show Family Matters, but like you shared, I didn't see this, so I'm repeating what you you shared. He knew how to diffuse some situations. He knew how to protect Laura and the other young lady in other ways. So, I
And
think
can I also just say that and maybe I'm overthinking this, but a grown up Urkel is an adult Iron Man. Isn't that correct? It's
all
just a
right.
smart man with a bunch of resources who figured
How about
out
that?
how to use the power correctly to be a superhero. Iron Man can't fight without his stuff, right? He has the money, he has the technology, and he has the brain. So did Urkel. And quite frankly, I'd rather that.
There you have it. There you have it. We have another video to show too. I forgot. I forgot. So we've got another topic about which to speak. But yeah, I think this right here is dangerous. I think it is dangerous. It is dangerous. Eric shares, there's a time and a place for responding to negative altercations. I believe there is always 1 to 3 ways to solve a toxic situation. Eric, was that statement in response to the comments we've been making about the Will Smith, Jada Pinkett Smith, and Chris Rock situation? I want to be sure. Our love, like Joanne Kemp shares, also it's one thing to come up on a situation, and quite another when a woman comes home and tells her significant other about a perceived hurt. Sometimes you can keep your mouth shut. Agreed. Agreed. Agreed wholeheartedly. Agreed. Agreed. Yeah, I think it definitely depends on the situation, the scenario, um, and what it is we're exactly doing here, what we're talking about. Now that if we're and I keep going back to this only because you mentioned it, but if I'm at an award show and I'm with my husband and there's someone, well, the other part of that too was that Chris Rock is a comedian and he was making a joke.
No. Well, but the other
Why?
part of that is that comedian also asked out Jada Pinkett Smith many, many times,
Say that
always
again.
being rejected. The other part of that, yes, he's a comedian, but he's also a man who asked out Jada Pinkett Smith several times,
Mhm.
publicly and privately. And so at this point, we're not talking about, the comedian Chris Rock. That's who we see. That's who we know. It's me, my husband, this man who asked me out, who we're in the same industry, we all here, we all fly. We can go ahead about the Oscars. My man is about to get an award tonight. Remember, Will got an Oscar that night.
He
and at
did.
the end of the day, I am never wanting anybody to fight. But sometimes, even me, I have to be checked. And I'm the kind of person where I feed off of disappointment. If you're disappointed in me, that's all I need to know. I'm already crushed in a million pieces. I'm an emotional person. But some people don't learn that way. And especially comedians tend to be people who taunt, right? And taunters just go into a different category. I don't know the whole situation with Will, Jada, and Chris, but I know enough about their personal life to know that me being a woman who's been dating for 25 years, if I sat next to a man that just let me get laughed at after spending 4 hours getting dressed and ready, and after just sharing about having alopecia and how it was a struggle for me to feel beautiful and how I'm having to deal with all of these and divisive beauty standards that I have to unbreak. Yeah, there's a lot going there. And I do think that while violence is not the answer, there is something to be said for how we protect our women and why we protect our women and why it's okay to set a line for when we are going to protect our women. Same for men, but just in the space of Chris Rock, it was an unfortunate situation. There's no right or wrong in the situation. So then all we can do is talking about, well, as a woman, what would be my preference? To be a man who does nothing, or to be a man or be with a man who does something, even if it's incorrect.
I don't know that he would. So, well, as you know, I know both Will and Jada, but I don't know about the history. I don't know the intricacies of the relationship that they have with Chris Rock. So I don't know anything about any of that. But what I do know, excuse me, is that Will had to have been very, very, but he had to have been at his last. There had to have been a buildup that. From what I know of Will, there had to have been a buildup. But I will say this: I still don't know if I've never been in that position, so I cannot speak from that. But not legitimately, I will say that I cannot speak legitimately from that point of view because I've never been in that position. But I don't know that. I still don't believe that the action that was taken was warranted. I just don't believe that was the time or place. I believe that they are both two very intelligent and mature men, and that it could have been handled differently. I believe Will could have expressed his displeasure, he could have expressed himself. And it could have been could have been during a commercial break when we weren't privy. It could have been after, it could have been at any other time because they have access to one another. But again, listen, I don't know the intricacies of that particular situation. So I really, really, really I could possibly or potentially be speaking out of turn right now because I don't know. But as it pertains, if it was me and I'm there with my husband, and this man, some man says something about me, yeah, I don't know that it would have struck me that way. I don't know that my skin is that thin. And especially if my man is there supporting me, if my man is talking to my man is there, my husband is saying, babe, I'm with him. I don't care about that man up there. What that man up there is saying about me, about mine, okay, understandably, it may not be pleasant, it may not be favorable, it may not be something that I even like or want to hear. But that man is of no consequence to me and my family. We could handle that differently. We could handle that at another time because I am going to stay in the space that I'm in. I came for a reason. I came because my husband is about to receive an award. What he's saying, what he's doing is inconsequential to me in that moment.
I think then the question. I think then the question is because because listen, I don't know these people either. I have
wait. Candace, hold that, because we got to take a commercial break. wait. I'm sorry. Family, stay with us because we're coming right back. We'll be right back.
Check out New World View with host David Barnes Sundays at 12 noon. New World View brings the word listeners a unique perspective in advocating change by shaping positive views and opinions through various musical genres. That's New World View on Sundays at 12 noon on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Are you raising the child of a loved one? You're not alone. Like many others, you've stepped up to raise the child of a friend or family member, allowing them to live, grow, and thrive among people they know. While fulfilling, it can also be challenging, but there is support. PA Kin Connector helps kinship caregivers just like you by providing connections to resources, services, training, and support groups. Don't navigate the journey alone.
Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars. I never considered myself to be a heavy drinker. At first, I only drank with friends, then to get through the day. I hit rock bottom when I realized I was choosing alcohol over my family. That's when I made the call. With my doctor's help, I was diagnosed with alcohol use disorder. Now, I'm getting to the root of my addiction and finding better ways to cope.
Mental health care works when you make the call. Visit mentalhealthcareworks.org. A message from the American Psychiatric Association Foundation.
Family Therapy Vignette Moments with Dr. Lucille Ijoy.
The July Vignette. This is a serious time in this nation, and you and I can make a difference. We can vote. Yes, we can vote. Tuesday, November the 5th. Let's know for sure we can do our part. We can make a difference in the city, the state, the nation, and the world. Now, many people stayed up a long time, but they didn't like the outcome of the June debate. This is Dr. Lucille Ijoy, and I'm ready for this fight. So come along with me. Don't talk about it, be about it. Stick with it. Tuesday, November the 5th. Tuesday, November the 5th. Be alert. There is more to come.
We're celebrating Black influence and Black excellence worldwide on the home of progressive Black talk media, WURD.
What is love?
You're listening to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
I think I know what love is.
Family, we are back. Welcome back to Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick, right here on WURD. We are talking with our love light, Candace Johnson, tonight. Yes, we are. And we've been talking about a lot. We shared a video talking about the bad boy thing, what women like and what women don't like, based upon the opinion of that was expressed by a young woman in the video. And family, I see you're commenting. We were also talking about the Will Smith, Chris Rock slap, I will say. Okay, so Eric shares, then you call him or her aside and respectfully yet firmly set him or her straight. I'm in agreement with that. Joanne Kemp shares, you can also respond to wrongdoers with the correct words sometimes. Words carry a better message, especially in that moment. Will could have made Chris Rock look stupid with words. I'm in agreement. I'm in that. That is the approach I would have taken. That right there. Malcolm shares, Will could have handled that differently. I agree. Eric follows his comment with sharing, y'all know we are famous for showing out at church, funerals, the Waffle House, the buffet, even at Chuck E. Cheese. Oh my goodness. But most definitely not the Grammys or the Oscars. Yeah, I have to agree with them. Well, not the Grammys or the Oscars. To embarrass yourself, your family, and your peers in front of millions around the world. Never that. Joey Dixon shares, peace word, family, stay free, vote, 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 one love and jazz to you all. You know, I will say whatever Will's reason, because, you know, I can't speak on it. He did what he felt was necessary in that moment. And
I think you said the perfect thing. He did what he felt. I'm so sure. It's been 2 years. I'm so sure that man does not believe that he did the very best thing possible. And it bothers me every single time a person goes, he could have handled it differently. Did you handle everything in your life right? Probably not. Right.
In that situation, Candace.
But you could see that man didn't know what. First of all, I recorded it because, again, I was at the news at the time. So I recorded it thinking, oh, no, we're going to talk about this, right? And what I could see in his eyes, that this was a man who didn't know what to do. He spiraled. He left his body. He went up there and he charged. I don't believe that he did the right thing. So we can stop saying that, of course, he could have done something differently. But what I see is at the end of the day, this was a man who took a breath, looked at his wife, decided that she needed protection, and then he protected her. Now, good, bad, or indifferent, all I'm saying is that at the end of the day, this man protected his wife. And as a woman who aspires to be a wife, if I don't have anything else, I will
I
take a
don't know that he
man who will.
protected her, Candace. She wasn't.
But
He
no,
did
she
not
said in the book.
protect her.
But she said in the book that she felt protected. She said in the book that she loved her husband. I'm not saying
Her
again,
publicist said that because her publicist wrote that.
I
She
don't
was
know.
not protect. Let's listen. If we're gonna be real, let's be real. Now
be
we
real.
know. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. When we talk, that's what it is. Listen, why not have a red table talk? Why not do that? Why not have the
They
three of you talk
did.
together? Then
Oh,
there
no,
you
no, no,
have
they
it.
didn't. They didn't. No,
No,
no, no, they didn't.
no. What she
You're
did
right.
was she said she sent a letter and it was all public. I'm saying it was all public. Why not have a sit down amongst the three? I want to invite you. Let's talk this out. Let's do this. Let's do that then. If you want to make something public, let's do that. Don't give me. Let's show the next video.
Yes. Oh, God. Here we go. Let's do it.
Oh, y'all hear me? Oh, Lord. Pipe down, slugger. All right, we have another video to share.
Not dating a man that does not come from a two-parent household. I don't care what race you are.
You came from a two-parent household?
No, but I'm gonna explain to you why. There's a big difference with the man who was raised with his mother and father versus a man who was just raised with his mother. And I had the pleasure of marrying a guy who was raised by his mom, and I dated seriously a guy who was raised by both parents. It's a big difference. And coming from a household where I was raised by my mom, as a grown woman, I'm telling you, it's a difference.
I do agree that there is a difference, but I can't necessarily say that I'm only going to deal with men who came from a two-parent household, because I didn't come from a two-parent household.
What is y'all? Okay. I know you're saying, Carol, where are you getting these videos?
Niall.
Okay. Yes, Niall. Don't you throw Niall under the bus. Don't you do it. I won't let you do it. But you know what? We all agreed that it would be a good subject to discuss because, I mean, these conversations are taking place and they're being made public. So they're out there. They're out there for us to consume. But what, girl?
Listen,
no.
Unwell is the person who talks about what they won't do versus what they will do. And that woman said it all when she said she married a man that was in a single parent household, but she only seriously dated the man who had a dual parent household, which maybe he got rid of her because he was too healthy.
You know what, Candace? You might be right about it. You might be right about it. I don't think. Oh my Lord. Okay, let's go to our socials. Just Rick shares. I actually love Candace. You're a bit of hot sauce and sweet brown sugar. I love it.
You came for me earlier, though. That's all right. Look at it.
No, he did. No, Candace. No. You know how we talk. Everybody's honest here, but we all do it in love, right? That's what we do. We just talk in love. That's what it is. That's what it is. Our love light, this is Rosalind. Hi there, beautiful. She shares good day to everybody. It's always an honor and a privilege. And she's giving everybody their flowers while we can all still smell them. Enjoy a new day, the new day that the Lord has made. Amen to that. Thank you. And we give you your flowers too, beautiful. Our love light, Joanne Kemp, shares, as it pertains to this particular video, it depends on the particular parents and their parenting skills. Yes. Yes. This poor young lady. Okay. I don't think it could be said better than the statement that our love light, Joanne Kemp, just made. It depends on the particular parents and their parenting skills. This young lady generalized, she just, so you won't ever date. What if the relationship that the two parents have is toxic, or if it, what that will affect him, the man, the boy, the guy that you would date. What?
Right.
I do want to share too before we move on to that, because we're going between two topics, family. Let me share you that if you have just joined us, how about that? Let me breathe, family. Welcome. In the event that you have just joined us, welcome, welcome, welcome. You are tuned in to Love and Life with Carol Riddick right here on WURD. We are talking with our love light, Candace Johnson, tonight, and we're talking about some things, y'all. Okay, we're talking about some things. We always do. You know, we always do. But we shared two videos, the first of which was titled Bad Boy. The young lady shares that she wants a bad boy. And she said, well, she made it a general statement. Women, we want the bad boy. And the second video was of a young woman who shares that she comes from a single parent household, but she will not date a man who comes from a single parent household because there is a
And
distinct difference.
and her children must come from a single parent household because she's no longer with her husband. She's dating somebody else. She suffers.
My Lord, my Lord. So, family, listen, you already know you are always, always, always invited to the conversation. Feel free to give us a call. Yes, yes, yes. You can do that by dialing 215-634-8065, or you can even call us toll free by dialing 1-866-361-0900. That's right. That's right. Our love lights are commenting, though. Malcolm shares, I can't respect Jada in that situation because she had already been stepping out on Will and she put it all on blast with her red table talk. Well, then there's that. Then there's that. Again, see, that's why I said I may have been speaking out of turn because I'm not in that relationship. I have no idea of the intricacies. I don't know what's wrong with my mouth tonight. I don't know. I haven't been able to speak properly all night, but I don't know the intricacies of their relationship. All I know was, what we all saw. That's all I know for sure. I don't know anything outside of that. I believe it to be an unfortunate occurrence. I wish it had not happened, but it did, and here we are. Um, you know, let's see. Miss Roslyn, she shares, Candace Johnson, welcome to Love and Life. I love that. Our love light, Miss Lily, is joining us. Hi there, beautiful. She shares, good evening, Sister Carol, and the entire Word family. Well, good evening to you. We send love right back to you. Miss Roslyn follows her comment with sharing, when it comes to the Black man, a woman, Black women should never allow her husband or her man to get out of character when it comes to defending her, especially if a person hasn't put their hands on you. Will was out of pocket, and Chris Rock should not have said what he said. And there you have it. There you go. Just Rick shares, okay, so you're going to exclude 50% of potential men based on a situation that was not in their control. How about that? How about getting to know this man, see his strengths, his interests, his qualities, etc. Then make a decision. She has double standards. Just keep it moving, princess. Next. Right.
Not a next.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
See, when they done with us, they done with us.
Yes, you did say that, didn't you? You said that, Candace. You said that.
Can I also add something? And I hope that this is coming off as more inquisitive than judgmental. But I had the privilege of celebrating my 40th birthday a couple of months ago. And what I did with my entire 38th and 39th year, and I am a product of a two-parent household, in fact, 3. Because when my parents finally did divorce, my mom remarried another man, and so now I have two dads. But at 38, 39, I thought, what do I want to change about myself? What do I not want to take into my 40th year, like my 40 through 80th year? And a lot of it was cleaning up my childhood stuff, my high school stuff, my childhood expectations that I had carried through to my adult dating life that I realized no longer had validity. And also the freedom of who I want to be moving forward, detached fully from my past. And so I guess my question is at what age do we decide who we actually are separate from how we were raised? I don't care how many parents I grew up with or how many different households I had or what the structure of it is. I think at a certain point, and maybe this comes from being a healthier person, but at a certain point, we have the ability to be who we want to be. There's someone out there who had the crap beat out of them in their childhood, but somehow manages to be a more positive light now. And there's someone who had a beautiful childhood who probably didn't turn out so great. So I think that at some point, and especially because I'm blessed to have conversations with people in 40 plus, in 50 plus, I had a conversation with a woman 65 plus. And I remember her bringing up her childhood as the reason why she is the way she is. But in my mind, all I see is that then you spent 40 plus years not taking the opportunity to correct. And so with that woman, and I'm going to assume that she's in her early 30s or at least late 20s, right? Late 20s still gives you a decade of separation from your childhood where you can clean up your stuff. Moreover, if you have children, you should be looking to clean up your stuff. And especially not allowing your children to believe that how many people are in their household raising them is going to be the determining factor of if they deserve love.
How about that? How about that, Candace? Yeah. Well said. Well said. Well said. Family, I see you're commenting. Our love light Joanne shares Barack Obama was raised by a single parent for a long while. Indeed, he was. Indeed, he was. Just Rick shares Ms. Rosalind is wise as well as beautiful. I love it. Yes, she is. Yes, she is. Miss Lily shares, LOL, Brother Rick. Brother Rick, wow. And Malcolm shares, Just Rick just stole my thunder with that last comment. Well, you know what? I think it deserves repeating. Ms. Rosalind shares, when it comes to the black man, black woman should never allow her husband or his man. Wait a minute. When it comes to the black man, black woman should never allow her husband or her man to get out of character when it comes to defending her, especially if a person has not put their hands on you. Will was out of pocket, and Chris Rock should not have said what he said. All right. And she dropped the mic on that. She really did. Nick, I have not called on you all night, and you know I was coming to you. You already know I was coming to you. What have you say, oh wise one? What have you to say? Oh, wise Nick.
Thank you. Hey,
oh, wait, we can barely hear you. Wait.
My fault. Let me turn this up. Okay, that should be a little bit better.
Yes.
Yeah, hey, Carol. Hey, Candace. I just want to speak real quickly to what Candace had just mentioned. I remember watching a documentary about abuse, and this woman who was abused by her mother, she remembers, when she had her own daughter, and her daughter reached the same age that she was, and she had done something that had got her spanked by her mother before. And the woman who's now a mother, when I didn't hit my child, and I realized how easy it was to not do that. And she couldn't believe that her mother had abused her for all these years. And so she always kind of tried to do her best to lead away from that. I think Candace is absolutely right that, what happens in our childhood, while it can affect us, it's up to us to make the change. I think the only reason that we're seeing more change now is because people are becoming more and more aware of it. Back in the past, people either didn't talk about it, or they told you to get over it, or it was minimalized completely. And so now we're seeing this era of people healing and growing from it. When before it, everybody was, they thought, well, you should just keep that to yourself, or your therapist, or God, And so I think we are doing a better job of that slowly but surely. But in that, you still have people who are, being harmed and creating trauma for the next generation to have to deal with, which is very unfortunate.
Agreed. Candace, what were you about to say?
No, I completely agree with everything that he's saying. And that's always to me what it comes down to. It's never the position that you take. It's always why are you at that position? And how can you free yourself from it? I feel like sometimes, especially with some of the videos that we show a few weeks ago when we talked about the woman who gives her number to every single man, right? Like it really comes down to one of two things. Either you are a person that is trapped in the hem of your environment, which then makes you a victim. So every decision you're making is one based on survival of not having power, or it's the opposite. You've just chosen to give away your power. And now you're blaming everybody else and everything else for why things aren't happening the way they should ideally, because I didn't have two parents. I didn't have a husband who did this. He didn't fight for me. She didn't fight. It seems exhausting to not be the master of your own universe. And maybe that is why I feel so empowered and light and free. Because what did we say earlier? Next. Next.
He didn't he? He typed it with a thumbs down. Family, listen, it's time for us to take another commercial break, but don't you leave us. Please don't, because we will be right back.
When their world isn't safe, they need someone to notice, to wonder and worry, to be their voice. If you suspect child abuse in any way, report it. You can be their hero. Your call can change their world.
Report suspected abuse by calling 1-800-932-0313 or visit keepkidssafe.pa.gov for more information. Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Quiet on the set. Take one. Action. This summer, discover indie film from the global majority. Don't miss the 2024 Black Star Film Festival, the world's premier celebration of Black, Brown, and Indigenous film and visual art. From August 1st to 4th, Black Star will feature over 90 films from around the world, panels with leading creatives of color, parties, and much more. Taking place online and in person in Philly. Tickets and passes are now on sale. Access cardholders are eligible for discounts. Learn more at blackstarfest.org/festival.
If you can plan barbecues and weddings, you can plan to protect yourself from a natural disaster. Sign up for local alerts, prepare an emergency kit, and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
The job search can be a difficult and frustrating process. Word's Livelihood Initiative was designed to help you find the right opportunity for your next professional move. Check out these recent openings posted on the Livelihood job board at wordworks.com. The Public Health Management Corporation is hiring for exciting roles, including a medical director and registered nurses. For more information on these jobs and others, go to wordworks.com and learn more about the Livelihood Initiative. Brought to you by Word Radio, progressive, Black Talk Media.
You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Well, hey there, family. Welcome back. You are tuned in to Love and Life with Carol Riddick right here on WURD. We are talking with our love light, Candace Johnson, tonight. Yes, we are. And we are talking about some things, okay? We've shared 2 videos. Oh, I did say I was going to share the other one again, right? For those of our family members who didn't see it. We only showed it one time. Okay. So I'm going to show the other video that we shared 2 videos. One was about bad boy syndrome, I guess if you will, for lack of another way of saying it. The women who like bad boys. We still have yet to define bad boys, but according to her definition, bad boys. So that was the first video. The second video was about single parenting, and we're going to share that again. And here it is. Oh, wait. Did we have it? Do I have it up? Here it is.
I'm not dating a man that does not come from a 2-parent household. I don't care what race you are.
You came from a 2-parent household?
No, but I'm going to explain to you why. There's a big difference with the man who was raised with his mother and father versus a man who was just raised with his mother. And I had the pleasure of marrying a guy who was raised by his mom, and I dated seriously a guy who was raised by both parents. It's a big difference. And coming from a household where I was raised by my mom, as a grown woman, I'm telling you, it's a difference.
I do agree that there is a difference, but I can't necessarily say that I'm only going to deal with men who came from a two-parent household, because I didn't come from a two-parent household.
Did she say she married a man that was raised by his mom?
Married a man who was raised by his mom. Mm-hmm.
And she said, I had the pleasure of marrying a man who was raised by his mom. And I dated a guy who came from a two-parent household. Okay. So what's all right.
And also, I mean, I'm just going to speak on a few of the obviouses, right? What about men who are only raised by their fathers? What about men who are raised by lesbian moms? What about men who are raised by gay dads? What about men who are just in the system? They don't have any parents at all. I'm very confused. I have a lot of questions for her. And then mainly, what does her ex-husband think about this? Because it really sounds like she has an ex-husband issue. If her ex-husband was the best thing that ever happened to her, maybe she'd want a remake of that. I don't know. Maybe she's just running from a bad situation and blaming the parents.
Well, she said she had the pleasure of marrying a man who was raised by a single mother, a single parent, single parent. So I was like, what?
But something happened to where, but she also said it's a big difference.
Yes, she did.
And it sounds like she's saying that one difference is better than the other difference, just based off the fact of, right, if I do two dual things and one now,
No, I'm sorry. No, I didn't mean. I understand you breaking it down, but I get that. But I'm stuck on the pleasure of marrying a man with a single parent.
I thought that was just respect to the mom. I thought that's. I would say that too if I was saying something really disrespectful. Oh, I love your blouse today. I mean, I wouldn't wear something so ugly, but I think that, that's how it came off to me.
That is not no, Candace.
That's how it sounded to me. It
No,
sounded
it
like she's
did
like,
not sound like that to me.
It did. What did it sound like to you? No, tell me what you said. What you got? Maybe I'm shady. What'd you get?
No, Candace. But no, I had the pleasure of marrying a man who was raised by, did she say a single mother or a single parent?
Mm-hmm. By just his mom. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what she intended or what she meant by that, but I think her choice of words is confusing. I will say that. So let's see. Eric shares that type of family dynamic she described doesn't always define a person, male or female, black or white. Learn to truly love and share your love. A bad decision invites division. You are just talking tonight. You better speak, Eric. You better speak. He follows his comment with sharing she's angry and probably going to be angry and single for a long while. I think so too. I think so too. Ms. Roslyn share no. She shares, I was beat, cut, and hit with hammers in my childhood by my mother, but I made it my business to make sure my sisters and brothers, nieces and nephews were not abused. But it was always that one that you had to be. It only took 51 years and some for me to learn to love Roslyn, and I am grateful that in 2024, my mother and my ancestors in the village that molded me to be a beautiful, loving mother that I am today, and to shout out to the world, ready for allowing me to be a part of this beautiful, loving, and caring world. Miss Rosalind, my Lord, my Lord, my Lord. I already loved you, but I don't know if I could love you any more than I do. Oh my goodness, I'm just sending you all the love and hugs that I can muster in this moment. You hear me? Mm-hmm. Our love, like Miss Joanne shares, sometimes people just have limited experiences and they use those few experiences to live by. I absolutely believe that is the case here. I absolutely believes that. Miss Rosalind follows her comment with sharing, but the Bible teaches us, honor thy mother and father. Your days are long. I thank God for my mother that in 2024, this time people cannot abuse me mentally, physically, emotionally, psychologically, or spiritually. I am gifted and I'm Black and I am proud. I love me today and I thank God. And we thank God for you. Oh, my Lord. Oh, Eric shares. Yes, Candace, you are, but it's okay. You are well rounded. Oh, when you said it, you oh, you know what? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Miss Rosalind, you just my heart is just I'm sending you love. I'm sending you love. I'm sending you love. Um Thank you for your vulnerability. Thank you for your transparency. Quite honestly, thank you for sharing that because um that's a lot. And I praise God all day, every day. But I thank Him so much for bringing you to the space where you are right now, for allowing the healing that you have, that you've had, for allowing the continuous healing, because that's a continuous process. Because I'm sure there are places that you go to that you can't escape. So thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God, for continuing to bless, keep, and cover our sister, Miss Rosalind. Okay. Miss Lily shares Shady Candace. Oh, Eric. Oh my goodness, he shares Shady Candace. I do love your personality. It's stimulating. But Miss Lily shares major kudos and love to Sister Rosalind. Yes, yes. Eric. Oh my goodness. Candace, once again, I love you to pieces. Oh, I
Love you,
enjoy
girl.
our conversations. The family loves you. I told you. I told you. We just have such a good time when you visit. We really and truly do. I love when you come to visit us, and I can't wait for the next time.
Me too. I
Can't wait.
love it. And Ms. Rosalind said everything. I think, we kiki a lot. I am very shady. I think things are funny. But I think her sharing her two messages with both videos, right? With the bad
Mhm,
boy video, you're right. As women, it's never our place to put our men in harm's way. And in this
mhm.
latest video, just with her being so transparent about her story, it shuts down that woman's claims
Yeah.
that based on your childhood, it dictates what kind of lover you're going to be. She's obviously an amazingly healed woman with a beautiful story to her, which allows for, like you said, for us to love her even that much more. And then also put shame on this other woman for deciding who should be thrown away based on something that you can't even control. And she couldn't
Yeah.
control. She didn't even stay
Oh,
with
wait.
her man.
Eric
Maybe.
shares,
I don't know.
come back, Candace, please. And Malcolm shares, it's always great having you, Candace.
Thank you.
Family, here we are, Candace. I love you. And I cannot wait until the next time. Family, family, family. Just praising God, from whom all blessings flow. I'm going to ask, as I always do, that you continue to pray as we all need it. You hear me? I thank you, Candace Johnson, our love bug. Thank you to our callers for sharing your time, your energy, your space, your spirit, your intention, your attention, and your love. You hear me? Special thanks to the entire Word family, especially Nick and Niall, for all that you do. I want to remind you once again that on Monday, August 5th, a special roundtable in advance of the announcement of Kamala Harris's VP pick, which we anticipate to happen on Tuesday, will air from 7 until 9 p.m. in Place of Love and Life. That's on Monday, the 5th. And it will be co-moderated by our very own Sarah Lomax. Happy birthday once again to all of our love lights. Family, family, family. Remember that we're all in this together. We truly are. So be good to you, but please be good to those around you. Be careful and be kind. God loves you, and so do I. And I forgot to tell you that Dr. Z sends her love because she couldn't be here tonight. Dr. Z loves you all, and she was so terribly sorry that she could not be here tonight. Family, have a great rest of your night and a great weekend. And be sure to join us Monday through Thursday, 7 till 9 p.m. Eastern Time, for another edition of Love and Life with Carol Riddick, right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media. Have a good one. Have a good one. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Bye.